Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
It's the NBL Canada on YouTube on a middle of the work week Wednesday evening from the Scotiabank Centre, the same building that hosted the UFC Sunday night. The Octagon is gone, the Fox Sport 1 trucks have left, but the intensity is still in the building as these two rivals will meet head to head. It is the Moncton Miracles 4-13 taking on the 16-4 Halifax Hurricanes. Good evening, everybody. My name is Dan Hobson. Joining me, as usual, is Vince Williams. And Vince, Moncton Miracles, things are getting a little bit tough for them. Off to a 4-13 start, as I mentioned, and they're in for a tough test tonight. And you could let the folks know why they're in for a little bit of a tougher, difficult matchup against the Hurricanes.
Well, I mean, they come into this game shorthanded, only having 8 players dressed this evening. Multiple injuries, guys not here. Malik Story didn't make the road trip. We have a couple other injuries as well. As Tyrell Tate not able to go. He's got a broken hand. So short-handed tonight, Danny, and it's going to be a tough, difficult task if they're going to get it done here at Scotiabank Centre against these Hurricanes, who usually don't lose on their home floor, coming off a very good road trip in the Central Division, winning 2 out of 3. Had a tough night on Monday afternoon on Heritage Day. It would be Family Day in Ontario, where they lost to the London Lightning, the first place team out of the Central Division. But they had a very good road trip where they actually went in. They had an exciting game where they won a game at the buzzer against KW Titans, where Mike Poole was big down the stretch. And they also got it done on the road against the Orangeville A's. So tonight, a rebound. 3 straight games here at Scotiabank Centre. With this one here, the Moncton Miracles, and then the London Lightning come back in tomorrow night, and they finish up on Sunday, where they'll take on, I do believe, the Island Storm.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups. As Vince mentioned, is a short staff here tonight for the Miracles. Brandon Carney, Melvin Johnson III, Timothy Mitchell, Jamal Gatali, and Russell Bird. The starting lineup there, we're going to have a jump ball as the ball is stuck in the hoop. So it's going to be Hurricanes basketball. Their starting 5, Tyrone Watson, Cliff Klinkskills, Antoine Mason, CJ Washington, and Billy White. Officials this evening are John Hunt, Brent Stalker, and Ryan Brown. Maybe the first game here for Ryan Brown in the NBL League, and there's a turnover there, and that's going to be one of the keys, talking to Paul McKeskey, is they're going to try to protect the ball, and if they can come away with some steals and get some turnovers in their favor, may make for a definitely an interesting basketball game here for sure from the Scotiabank Centre. Here's Johnson now, drives off the glass, and he can't get it to go, and Washington is there, and he'll come down with it as we're coming up to 1 minute gone here in the opening quarter. Watson in the corner, they'll swing it around. Length scales. Coming up was White to set the screen. Entry pass, White a little bit too far out of his reach, tips off the fingers of Kearney, so we'll stay with the Hurricanes, but they have a small shot clock to work with, 7 to shoot. We take a look at White there, trying to ride around and get some opening here. And 55 to go, Watson in the paint, a hook shot, and he gets the touch to go, and that will start things off here, 2-0. Watson, a nice move, and didn't show a lot in terms of panic there as the clock was winding down. Bird having himself a fantastic season for the Miracles. And there is Kearney, second stint. Of course, he recently began the season with the Windsor Express. So gets a second chance after being released by the Express and back in the Miracles fold here. 10:24 to go. Mason also having a fantastic season for the Hurricanes. An entry pass, they go high to White along the end line. Double team. White looks at Ryan Brown looking for the call. None is forthcoming. In the meantime, Johnson III had a fantastic weekend at the Moncton Coliseum, but well short there. Quickly transition the other way, 2-on-1. Alley-oop and the jam to Billy White.
Good play in transition there, and that's the type of energy that the Hurricanes need. Easy opportunities in transition. Defensively get their hands in pass lanes and get out in the open floor, and a beautiful alley-oop on that 2-1 between Mason and Billy White.
One of the things that, of course, Paul McKeskey was saying, protect the ball. And quickly the Hurricanes coming back the other way. They have a 6-0 run, and McKeskey's not liking what he sees, calls timeout. And we've only passed 2 minutes and 20 seconds gone here in the opening quarter.
Yeah, it's a track meet turned into track meet quickly, and that's not a good thing if you're Coach Paul McKeskey. You don't want the Hurricanes getting into the open floor and getting those open opportunities in transition and getting easy opportunities by that way. You want them to work for everything they get on the offensive end. And I think, you said it was a quick timeout call, but it was the right timeout call as they try to regroup and get their defensive matchups together and not allow this Hurricane team to get into the open floor, because they are very good in offensive transition.
Well, also McKeskey said they have to earn everything, and so far it's been some easy buckets there for the Hurricanes, and they're off to that 6-0 lead. As you say, you get close to also the deadline in terms of the rosters freezing in the middle of March there, so I imagine also players are trying to fight to make sure they can actually stay with their team instead of being released or traded. Of course, I'm not sure if I got your opinion on the trade where they ended up releasing the guy that leads some assists, Scoop, and they sent him away. It's kind of an interesting decision, but for future considerations.
Well, I mean, it was probably a decision made by McKeskey as he's trying to build a program that he can work with, guys that he can work with. So the Miracles coming out of that timeout with possession as Brendan Kearney turns it over, and another opportunity in transition coming right back out of the Hurricanes. Watson now to the basket. He's able to take Mitchell off the dribble. Mitchell did a good job of defending the basket in his last touch by the Miracles, and it'll be the Hurricanes' possession.
Hey, I'm back now. We had a little bit of audio difficulty. Thanks, Vince. 9:26 to go here. 6-0 run here by the Hurricanes to start things off on a Wednesday evening. And they're looking here to get more. White backing in. Takes it into the paint. A lot of contact there. White looking for a call. Once again, frustrated with Ryan Brown. Kearney now. Entry pass right into the hands of Mason. Good pass. Wrong team. Back comes the Hurricanes once again. Washington. Guarded by Bird, short on that one, but Bird will come down with the board as we approach 3 minutes gone here in the first. Bird, as we mentioned, having a good season, 7 of 14 from the field, 20 points against the Island Storm in their loss on Monday. In the meantime, that will end the 6-0 run as the 3 there by the Miracles makes it 6-3.
Yeah, Kearney with the jump shot from the corner there, just what they needed to break up that 6-0 run. So it turns into a one-possession game, but now they need to dig in here defensively and get a stop.
White, back it in on Bird. Now pass along the line, and defense come in and crashing at the last second there for the Moncton Miracles. And as Vince mentioned, one-possession game, a chance to make it being down by 1. There's Kearney, outside 3, that doesn't go, and Lots of white jerseys, including Clinkscales, coming down with the ball. Mason, catch and shoot. Bucket.
That's Antoine Mason's game, the aggressive nature, that inside-out game. And he's in unfamiliar territory. In the last few ball games, he's been starting for the Hurricanes, usually coming off the bench, averaging just under 14 points per game. He's been very good in that reserve role. He's just starting to find his way as a starter.
The bird is a word as he lays that up and in. Making it 9-5. Out of Michigan State. His first year with the Miracles. 7:26 to go. Some tough work all done there down low by Washington, and Watson has an easy layup.
Watson getting it done, and he's 3 for 3 from the field. Excuse me, 2 for 4 from the field, and that's where he makes his pay, inside that painted area.
Johnson can't hit. That's the thing, is with the 3 ball, and he's really good from downtown threes, as he tied a record for knocking down threes Saturday afternoon at the Moncton Coliseum, but they haven't been able to go down now.
A good battle underneath the basket there between Mitchell. And it looked like the collision between him and CJ, as he was able to get in front of CJ and grab that rebound.
This is one of the things that are difficult here for Mitchell at the line. 45.7% free throw shooter. Washington, his first foul, first team foul there for the Hurricanes. 7:04 to go, and they'll go 1 of 2 that trip. They get a 5-point game, 11-6, as we're coming up to the 5-minute mark here. And the Hurricanes are just coming down the court, just pretty well doing whatever they want right now, but they can't get that one to go. An open look by Watson, he'll get a second chance. Oh, tapped away there by Johnson, but right into the hands of the Hurricanes. Clinkscales has it now. 6:45 to go. White and John Hunt, crew chief here this evening, with a foul call along the sideline. The first one for the Miracles, sorry, man.
It looked like a battle between Watson and Gentili, as Watson was trying to garner position, and Gentili had no choice but to try to push him away from the basket. But an interesting matchup defensively for the Miracles right now. Gentili trying to guard CJ, and I would say that's definitely a mismatch in the favor of the Hurricanes that they can exploit.
Mason from the corner can't hit. So the Hurricanes have started off pretty hot shooting and sort of cooled down, but they still have a 5-point lead. 6:20 to go. Johnson the third swings it over to Bird on the wing. It's a nice move, gets it into the paint, guarded by Clinkscales, fouled, and 3 throws coming up here for Russell Bird.
Good decision there by Bird. Might have had an opportunity to pull up from beyond the arc, but he's seen it open with the left hand. He was being very aggressive in attacking the rim. He was able to garner a foul on Billy White. So if you can get a foul on Billy White, you get Billy White in foul trouble along with Clinkscales, basically the 2 veterans, the 2 leaders of this team, and you're in pretty good shape on your way of trying to corral this win, because it's going to be tough sledding tonight for the Miracles. As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, guys are coming in 8 men down. We were basically an 8-man squad, and not having the services of 4 individuals and coming in short-handed, it's very tough to win a basketball game at the professional level.
Bird gets that one to go. During the regular season here, the Moncton Miracles sit 9th in the NBL from the free throw line, shooting 69.2%. 4-point game. White can't get that one to stick, a long rebound. And there's Tydran Beatty out of Benedict College into the game, and this is a thing that you got to be concerned about when you have 8 players. A quick injury, but it looks like it's just a finger in the eye there of Johnson, so he'll just have to give it a few winks and then it'll be okay.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. You got Johnson the third, their deadly threat from beyond the arc. Was able to knock down 10 triples last weekend. Was very good for 35 points for the Miracles.
Kearney will come back in.
He definitely can't afford losing his services this evening, as he'll need all, potential double-digit points, and he's potentially knocking down threes, and that's what opens up the floor. His ability to knock down threes opens up that inside game.
Bird, and you talked about it, and hits that one from outside the arc. So all of a sudden, the 6-0 run by the Hurricanes now is a 1-point lead, 11 to 10. Another foul called behind the play there by Brent Stocker this time. Actually, we're calling it a bounce, pardon me. So shot clock will be at 16 seconds, 5:33 to go here in the first quarter. We're in a little bit of a different broadcast location, so sometimes the line of vision of the game may be a little bit blurred for us, so we will ask you to please stick with us as Mason drives into the paint. Can't get that one to go, tips off his fingers, but it hits a Miracle player on the inline, so it will be Hurricanes basketball, new 24, 5:20 to go here in the first.
You can see the aggressive nature by Mason continuing to attack the rim, and he's looking to get to the basket on every opportunity as he's trying to take Attili off the dribble.
Mason, right there by Beattie. Shot clock, 16. Watson, lots of contact, loses the ball.
Good double team on that last defensive trip down as they didn't allow that spacing for Mason. So he bottled him up in that double team and it came late, was able to get the hands in the passing lane. Good defensive stop for the Miracles.
Kearney now swings it over. Oh, and an air ball there by Kentucky. He can't hit that one, 4:46 to go, but a turnover and he'll come up with the ball once again. They'll swing it over. Kearney has an open look over Washington. Can't stick it, and Watson right there, bring it back for the Hurricanes, and the reverse there by Washington. Beautiful sweet move underneath the hoop fence.
And that's what happens if you're not able to knock down shots. And that last offensive trip down by the Miracles, Kearney had a wide open shot and unable to knock it down, and a rebound and two passes, and away they go as the Hurricanes are able to get it up and down the court in transition quickly.
Mason, it was a tap there, attempt by the Hurricanes, it doesn't go. And numbers the other way, 2-on-1. Beattie, lots of contact against White, but he'll get it to go. And it's a 1-point game. As we're getting to 4 minutes to go here in the first quarter from the Scotiabank Center. Watson looks like there was a lot of contact. The hoop and the harm. Chance to finish it here as they'll shoot one from the line.
Good decision. Moving without the basketball as Watson was able to get inside, find a lane there. Good pocket pass inside there by Billy White. Unselfish basketball as he was able to fight through that contact by Russell Bird. Watson was able to finish. You can see in the replay, Bird just a little bit late as Watson was able to blow by Catali, finish off the window, complete the three-point play.
Entering the game for the Hurricanes is Mike Poole. He was pointless last game against the London Lightning, but he likes playing Moncton. He's averaged 19 points in 4 games versus the Miracles this season. That will rattle around, but it will kick out. So 3 throws on the way. It's going against Haywood. Will be his first. 3rd team foul there for the Hurricanes.
See a very aggressive move there by Johnson III. So he's checked back in the game. He didn't waste any time trying to get back to his offensive ways. So he was able to take Joey Haywood off the dribble. And they need Johnson's points and his offensive productivity tonight. They're going to have any chance of pulling this one off.
16-14, 3:38 to go in the first. Haywood, the Smeo product, on the floor right now. With the ball. Oh, there's a pick there by Bird. And he keeps it alive too, but in the process, it'll be called for a back-over violation, so Hurricanes ball.
Yeah, unlucky there. Russell Bird did an outstanding job at anticipating that pass, as he was almost able to pick that one off and get off to the races. And it was the right call as he tried to hit a teammate, Beattie, and Beattie was behind.
Coach McKeskey wanted an explanation from Brent Stocker. Got one, must have been pleased with it.
Pretty easy explanation.
Yeah, Mason, he's protected there, but they're going to say foul is Ryan Brown. And Johnson III not too happy. Three throws on the way here for Mason.
Yeah, it definitely was the right call as he was able to block the shot initially. And he just was a little bit too aggressive going through the body. It looked like he got him on the arm. As Coach McKeskey is looking for another explanation, and that particular call, but it was definitely the right call from this vantage point. No opportunity to see a replay here, but it was definitely from this vantage point where I can see Danny. It's definitely the right call on that particular play. Coach McKeskey, once again, getting all over the officials as he is very accustomed of doing throughout the game.
Well, as I mentioned off the top, I'm not sure if this is Ryan Brown. Of course, he's relatively new to the officiating corps, but having a chance to speak to some of the officials here, he's making his debut, of course, in the AUS as well as the U Sport and here in the NBL. So, but he's getting a little bit of a tongue lashing there from Murkowski. So, having some tough little minutes here in the first quarter is Brown, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure he's used to it. I know the U Sports, the coaches there, in particular in the AUS, are pretty tough on the officials. So,
alley-oop and a nice finish by C.J. Washington.
Once again, another fast break point, another opportunity, and that's how the Hurricanes make their hay.
Davis now on the floor here for the Moncton Miracles out of Brock University.
Hurricanes force you into making mistakes, and they do an outstanding job of cleaning those mistakes up, and particularly in the transition.
Johnson allowed with the open look and drains it, and that's the thing. They got to get a hand in his face.
Yeah, that's a good look coming off of that inbound there, coming off a screen. Johnson had a wide open look, and he makes no mistake knocking that triple down.
Starting to heat up. He's got 5. Poole with a nice little kiss off the window and in.
Yeah, good step through there by Mike Poole. You can see he's being very aggressive in the last few ball games, not settling for that silky smooth jump shot that we've been accustomed to seeing in the first few games here at Scotiabank. But he's been very aggressive trying to get inside the paint.
Back-to-back threes. This time Bird hits that one from the corner. Makes it a 2-point game, 22-20. Keep this going, we could be into seeing triple digits on the scoreboard on each side. 1:51 to go. Washington. Nice little underhand pass to White along the end line, 8 to shoot. Haywood sends it in the corner. Washington passes a little bit low. White worked with what he had. Wants the and one, but it's not going to come, but he'll get the bucket and make it a 24-20 basketball game with 90 seconds to go. Foul called here by John Hunt. This one will go against Mason. That'll be his first and the 14th foul for the Hurricanes. Mason, as you see right now on the screen, having an explanation from the veteran official Hunt. And Zimmerman will see his first action here out of Thompson Rivers. Having himself a up and down season. 3 games previously, in the 3 games, he had 10 points, 18 points, and 15 points. His last 4, he's only managing about 4.7 points and was pointless versus the A's. So, as you say, we had a pretty good game, a stretch where he had double figures, and then the last 4, not so much. So, it's a little bit of up and down for him this year. 87 seconds to go as McKeskey's once again yelling to the officials. Here is Washington. Oh, but he'll lose the handle. Beatty now. Kisses off the glass. Well defended there by the Hurricanes. But it's a 2-point game, 24-22. Murkowski would definitely take this knowing that he's short-staffed here tonight. Zimmerman, Washington. A lot of contact there, and finally a jump ball being called. And the possession arrow will be in favor. Well, originally it was Moncton, but now they're going to say it's going to be the Hurricanes basketball, so it'll be 10 to shoot for them. Kearney coming back in. And this is the thing, if you got a bench of 8 staff, you also got to make sure that you rotate and switch things up and make sure you keep everybody fresh and out of foul trouble too.
All 8 guys are definitely going to get their opportunity to play tonight. Game management is going to be a very key point for Coach McKeskey, trying to keep these guys within striking distance for the 4th quarter.
46 seconds to go. Haywood versus Kearney. Good defense there by Haywood, and a wild shot thrown up by Kearney, so 1 for 1 here. Zimmerman for 3, yes! hits it, 27 to 22. 4-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Hurricanes have a couple of fouls to give, but they're going to get the ball back on an offensive foul. Let's go get Davis.
Definitely a moving screen there by Theo Davis. He's not happy about it. Along with Johnson III, he wasn't happy about it either as he created space for Johnson III. It looked like he was going to rise up and knock down that triple as he had a wide open look from that distance.
Now the Miracles have 2 fouls to give. The shot clock is shut off 15 seconds ago. As you see, Hurricanes going to hold it here for the last shot. Zimmerman for 3. No. Poole with 5 seconds to go, allowed to walk down and put it up. An easy bucket, 29 to 22. That's how this first quarter ends here from the Scotiabank Center. Vince, let's get your thoughts on the opening 12.
Yeah, very positive and very strong finish towards that end of that 12 minutes. But I like the play coming off the bench of Mike Poole. You can see he's being very aggressive, making an assertive effort to crash the boards and move without the basketball and attack the rim as he was able to finish there just before the buzzer. But I like the effort down the stretch here by the Hurricanes. Hurricanes doing a good job defensively at times where they're able to get their hands in passing lanes and get into the open floor and get some easy opportunities in the transition. What I would like to see a little bit better in the next 24 is that they do a better job in their half-court defense and not allowing these wide open jumpers from beyond the arc for Johnson and Bird. Because with those guys, they still have a chance, even though they have 8 guys here in the building and only have 8 guys available to fight for these 48 minutes, they still have a chance with these offensive weapons. So if the Hurricanes are going to be successful tonight, they need to shut down those weapons and make sure that they force those guys to take tough shots and not have those standstill opportunities from that distance.
Well, you talked about them from outside the arc, 4 of 9. Of course, that amounts to 44%. So, of course, Berg was doing it as well as Johnson. That's the thing is that they got to pretty well rely on the 3 because they're one of the teams that have struggled defensively. They've given up an average of 110 points a game, the Moncton Miracles have. So if you're giving up 110, that means you're going to have to pretty well put up 115 to try to win a game, which means you have to rely on the outside 3.
Well, they definitely got to rely on that and a whole lot more. Defensively, they got to do a better job enforcing the Hurricanes in their half-court sets. But I'm impressed by their half-court sets tonight, the Hurricanes, that is, because they are executing. They're moving the basketball, they're playing unselfish basketball, and they're giving up good shots to get better shots. And there was a few possessions there where Billy White, was able to move the basketball, had the position in position to have a good shot, but he passed up that good shot and was able to get it to a teammate that had a better opportunity, and he executed at the rim, going towards the rim and attacking the rim without the basketball. So I like the things that they're doing offensively, the Hurricanes. I just would like to see them be a little bit more aggressive in their half-court set and not allow these wide open standstill 3s.
See, second quarter underway. Give and go there. Johnson in the paint. Lots of contact. He'll get together, see if they're going to have free throws here, but I think it would be probably. And it is a shooting penalty here for Johnson.
Well, you never like to commit a foul, but if you're going to commit a foul, make sure it's aggressively and make sure that it's not from beyond the arc. And Johnson had to work very hard off the dribble of making that happen and creating that offense.
Johnson at the free throw line in the first quarter. Moncton shot 66%, 4 of 6. It's a 9-point game, 31 to 22, opening seconds here in the second quarter. Scotiabank Center. Vince Williams and Dan Hobson. Silver Vision crew. Best of the Atlantic versus the worst of the Atlantic. So far the best on top. They missed that one. Moving screen, it looked like there by Jonty. Johnson with a little bit of a floater. It doesn't go down. Poole almost lost his balance. Cox makes a nice move on Beatty, and it goes in and out. Davis comes back and picks it up there for the Miracles. Johnson will cross the timeline. We're coming up to 1 minute gone here in the second quarter. Beatty almost lost the handle there, defended by Dixon very well. Back out top. 10 to shoot, Davis. Shanti, open look, can't knock it down, and Poole's right there to come up with the weak side rebound. And 51 to go. Poole, no look past Dixon, fouled there by Davis. Free throws coming up here for Ronaldo Dixon.
Outstanding play there in transition, the mid-transition that is, by Mike Poole. Giving up that shot there in the painted area, was able to find a cutting Ronaldo Dixon without the basketball, as Anthony Cox did an outstanding job of setting that screen. So you can see tonight, Danny, that the Hurricanes have no problem with their offensive game. They've been doing pretty much, as you mentioned, late in the latter part of that first quarter, they've been pretty much getting every shot they can possibly want on their offensive sets, whether it's in the transition, the mid-transition, or in their half-court set. So they've been getting good opportunities. It's the end that I want to focus on the most, is the defensive end, where they need to try to shut down the offensive forces of the Miracles. And that's right now Johnson III, and will be Brandon Kearney.
Cox got a little piece of it, actually bounced it off Davis out of bounds, so a nice smart play there by Cox, giving him some good minutes off the bench. 10:30 to go here in the second quarter.
That was a good adjustment on that pick and roll by Cox, as he was able to retreat and get over and get his hand in that passing lane.
Cox wearing the pink sneakers because it's anti-bullying day. Catch and shoot, Mike Poole along the end line. Largest lead of the Hurricanes of the evening, 35-24.
You can see the exertive effort right now by Mike Poole in his offensive game, as he's starting to get it going now in another role, not being a starter and being a reserve, but he's getting some good minutes here for Coach Leslie coming off the bench.
Beatty too strong with that. Quickly up, Zimmerman got in behind the D. Haywood, nice passing, quick passing, and the jumper there by Poole, and hits the three.
He's starting to heat it up, and the beautiful touch pass, no-look pass by Joey Haywood, giving up a wide open jumper as Zimmerman was able to draw the double team, and a beautiful pass there by Joey Haywood, as Mike Poole was able to walk in the rhythm and knock down that three.
Kearney steps out of bounds, so things start to unravel here for the depleted Moncton Miracles. 9:33 to go.
Yeah, you can't turn the basketball over on the road, especially when you're down and you don't have, your full complement of 12 players. That's the 9th turnover on the night for the Miracles.
No look pass there by Poole, fools everybody in the building, including Cox, and goes out of bounds.
Good idea. Luckily, it was last touch by the Miracles, but it was definitely a wide open opportunity if he was able to complete that pass to Cox.
Bird back in. Poole looking for some bodies, gets it to Cox. Shot clock at 12. Zimmerman now. Guarded by Johnson. Falls down. Cox. Clock at 4. The mid-range jumper doesn't go. Good defense there by the Moncton Miracles. They're coming back the other way. Making a nice move there is Kearney. Trying to make everybody back in Windsor say, you shouldn't have released me. And in the meantime, coming back is Haywood, and he'll have a chance to complete the three-point play. Got to get back and play defense, Vince, and it seems to be one of the things that the Miracles have had difficulty with this season.
Yeah, they're struggling right now getting back in defense, especially when they're successful offensively, as Brendan Kearney did an outstanding job of breaking down his defender. It looked like he was a 1-on-3. He was able to execute, but not getting back in transition is just unexcusable at this level.
Haywood was coming off his best performance so far this season, 16 points in the loss to London. He would have gladly given up those numbers to come away with a victory. 41-26. Bird now, tough defense there by Poole, coming up to set the screen is Mitchell. Shanti, contact there by Dixon, but that's what you get out of Dixon. Good, solid defensive player. Shanti looked like he had all day to put it up and couldn't.
Yeah, he's an outstanding rim protector, and that's what you're definitely going to get from Ronaldo Dixon. He's either going to alter a shot or make it tough on a defender. Good rim protector, and that's exactly what he does. He gives you that coming off the bench in the reserve role. A guy that can block shots, and he can also knock down shots from beyond the arc as well.
We call for the foul will be his first and the third team foul. 8:18 to go. Poole steps back, puts up the three, and it doesn't go. And the weak side rebound gathered there by Mitchell. Put it in the hands of Johnson III. Nice ball movement here as a little bit of the younger crowd here at the Scotiabank Center make noise, and the easy bucket there for Timothy Mitchell out of southeastern Florida.
Good spin move in the lane there by Mitchell. That's what they need to do a little bit more. Work the big man. If he's going to play the minutes, you got to utilize his ability to get to the rim.
Pretty well a shooting fest. The teams are going down and exchanging shots, but they're unable to get to the foul with 7:40 to go.
It's definitely a bad shot by Bird.
That one doesn't go either, so now all of a sudden there's a lid on the bucket here at the Scotiabank Center, 41-28. Fadeaway jumper there, beautifully done by Johnson.
That was a tough shot there by Johnson III.
Haywood tried to draw the contact, runs into one of the cameramans there at the floor level. He's okay, and he's quickly getting back into the play. Numbers the other way for the Miracles. And once again, Johnson hits the tray.
Yeah, and this is the pace that favors the Miracles if they cannot allow the Hurricanes to score on the other end. Guys like Johnson and Bird getting mixed up in the fray in transition and stepping into those wide open standstill threes. As Johnson had a wide open three, and he's going to knock down that shot 9 times out of 10 from that distance.
Zimmerman will come back and he'll hit for downtown.
But what you get on offense, you also tend to give it up on defense, because as hard as Johnson and Bird are working to get open to knock down shots offensively, they got to work even harder defensively down the other end, fighting through screens.
The way these teams are going, Vince, might as well shut the shot clock off. It's no big deal to them as Poole comes down with mid-range jumper, 46-13.
It's very nice to see Mike Poole shooting the way he is here in this first 24 minutes. He's got 11 now. He's 5 for 6 from the field. So it's good to see he's found his rhythm offensively.
And a pick off, and McCuskey throwing his frustration now. Laying that one up is Renato Dixon. And all the frustration by McCuskey makes him call a timeout. Not happy with the way his team, of course, is pretty well nonchalant and careless with the basketball. And it's a 15-point lead, 48-33.
Yeah, 11 turnovers thus far, 10 points off of those turnovers, 26 points inside the paint compared to 10. Those are huge numbers, and when we're talking 26 points inside that painted area, that means most of those points are coming by transition. And we'll continue to talk about it and continue to harp on it because nothing has been corrected thus far. The adjustments have not been made by the Miracles, and this is the reason they're down 48-33 thus far and forcing Coach McCuskey into a timeout to regroup. Now, they were able to get the lead down to single digits at one point in the last 2 possessions, but with getting those shots in transition, and I mentioned that, I like how the pace was favoring them, but when the pace doesn't favor them is when the Hurricanes are able to execute and get points in the open floor. Because when they come down and get shots wide open, they're able to knock them down. Bird's knocking them down. Johnson III's knocking them down. Brendan Kearney's finding his touch going towards the basket. But their problem is defense. They are making mistakes, huge mistakes defensively. They're not picking up their man in transition. They're not communicating, talking to each other, and making sure that the immediate attack, where its immediate attack is coming from the guy with the basketball. He's making a decision to either throw in that stretch pass, or he's breaking down his defender at the timeline and able to get into a 2-on-3 or a 2-on-1, and then we got Lob City. And then we got 3-point shots. Guys are stepping into standstill threes like Zimmerman and Poole are stepping into threes wide open. And that's where the lead balloons into where it is now, forcing Coach McCuskey into a timeout.
Well, he's going to have a tough 6 minutes left here to go in the first half. And they have a little bit of a hill to climb, down by 15. His play's back underway. Bird, boy, oh boy, he is just hot. And where would the Miracles be without his play this season, Mitch?
Yeah, he's been outstanding for them. He's been very consistent, knocking down that shot. That's his 3rd 3-ball on the night. Excuse me, that's his 2nd, as he has 9 points on the evening. Unofficially, it's 3 for 5 from the field.
Zimmerman, that's short. Hits a couple bodies up front. It actually hit Davis right in the hands of Shanti, and he'll give it to Johnson, who crosses the timeline. Shanti gets the return pass. Kearney putting on the Jets. Fadeaway over Watson, and nice bucket to go.
I mentioned it, see, Brendan Kearney trying to find his way now, getting towards the basket and creating offense off the bounce, and Bird knocking down that three. So those 2 possessions coming out of that timeout are just what they needed.
Tough bucket, 1-on-2, but White gets the finish. And it's a 12-point game. 4:53 to go, 50-38. Johnson with the ball, falls down on the play. Zimmerman gets a piece of the ball, quickly up to Watson. Alley-oop and the flush. Billy White.
And that's what I see. They're starting to get into trouble again. Few good possessions defensively, and then turns right back into Lob City. 2 possessions there. Watson with 1, and nice knock, jump down, jump shot there by Brendan Kearney, but they need to make stops on the other end.
It's getting to be a big, explosive offensive show here tonight at the Scotiabank Center. 52-40, 4:13 left in the quarter as Watson with an entry pass to White, sends it out to Zimmerman. Had a good look, but unable to drain it. And Brent Stocker has the foul called on Cordell Jonte, will be his second, and Beatty would come in for the Miracles.
So whatever offensive deficiencies they had in their last meeting, in their last game, excuse me, there on Monday against the London Lightning, they're showing no ill effects of that tonight are the Hurricanes. They're getting a lot of shots in the way of transition in their half-court sets with great ball movement.
Canty from outside, can't hit. Get some minutes here in the dying seconds here of the second quarter. Bird stops and pops and can't finish. Canty there with the weak side rebound. 3:45 to go. Still a 12-point game. Watson. Catch and shoot from White. Bucket. 54-40.
That's got to be a demoralizing feeling for Theo Davis, as he basically gave that jump shot up to Watson. Watson, not a guy that will pull up from 15 feet out. He was able to hit that jumper.
Kearney with another fadeaway shot that goes down, 54-42, as he's starting to find his game. I guess sometimes, you know, you go to a new team and it doesn't really fit out with you, so you come back to your old one, and it's just like you never left.
Yeah, he's been very effective offensively for the Miracles, as he has 12 points on the night now. He's been very good going towards the basket.
Tic-tac-toe passing, and White with the bucket. 2:51 to go, and it's 56-42.
So I'd say the magic number right now for the Miracles is try to not allow this Hurricane team to score 60 points in the first 24 minutes.
The shooting fest continues as Beatty gets that one, so it's 56-44. Watson stops, has to put the brakes on. Brings it up top to Canty. Zimmerman now. Canty gets the return pass from Zimmerman. The shot clock at 8 for 3. Too strong. And a loose ball foul called by Ryan Brown underneath the hoop. And it is Moncton foul, and it's going against Theo Davis. It'll be his third, and that's the thing they have to be careful of, because I was talking to you a little bit off air, but one of the games that I did in the collegiate level, they started the game with 7. Injuries started happening, then the fouls started piling up, and they finished the game with 3 on the floor, 3 on 5. A rarity that I've never seen in this sport.
Yeah, that's just tough sledding. It's 5 against 3. That's not a good night, and that's definitely spells an L for sure. You'd probably get blown out.
The game was pretty well over by then. By the time the players started getting out of there, it was like a 30-point deficit.
Yeah, I would say about 30, 40 points. I was going to say about 50 at that mark. You got 5 players against 3. That's a huge advantage, offensively and defensively, because you can double team, you know, one of their best players if they're one of their best players happen to be left on the floor. So there should be no excuses getting a W if you have 5 players versus 3.
Yeah, that was the team. It was the #1 team in the country in the CCAA, the All College Hurricanes. Washington. And And now we have a little skirmish here as Shanti and White.
And that definitely draws a crowd, as Billy White is not happy with the physicalities of Cordell Gentil as they come together and exchange words. And Coach McKeskey is not happy as well, as he's continuing to work the officials over. He's looking for a foul call on the other end. As you can see in the big screen
There it is, yeah.
he's right in the ear of Brent Stalker, but Brent Stalker's handling it quite well right now.
Got a good poker face on right now, just staring.
Very composed, and that's the sign of a very good official, able to hear the frustration from a coach and then allow him to get, whatever he has to say out, and then talk to him in a calm manner and try to explain him and give him the explanation he needs. So the crew chief, John Hunt, trying to short things out here. It looks like they're going to be a double foul or a double tech on Billy White, and it looks like it will definitely go on Cordell Gentil. And it looks like John Hunt's going to talk to Coach McKeskey and explain what transpired down here on the other end.
And this is also the thing, as we mentioned, with a bench of eight players dressed tonight, you pretty well got to be careful with the fouls. I mean, that was our point when we talked about how the game that I called that finished with 3 players on the court versus 5. They had 7 dressed. One guy got injured, went down to 6, and then the fouls started piling up and finished with 3. Same situation here. They may have one more player, but still, you got to be careful.
It's
and
emotional.
The thing is, also too, you also get some easy buckets in that foul trouble too.
Well, it's an emotional game, and these guys are not going to back down from each other. But if you're the Hurricanes, you got to walk away. You got a full complement of 12 players able to go here. You got pretty much every bullet in the chamber. You're at home, where you're pretty much unbeatable. You can't get goaded into these type of games where you're jawing at the other team, and you can't get goaded into either, doing something foolish after the whistle and get yourself thrown out of the game. So Billy White gathering his composure. I like that Billy White was able to gather his composure and not allow those effects, the jawing between him and Gentil to affect his game. It's good that on Coach Leslie as well, allowing a veteran like Billy White to stay on the floor and deal with that type of scenario.
Well, UFC was Sunday night, but it looked like we had a little bit of a carryover there as Gentil and White should set the octagon up and go.
Well, I mean, it's always a battle with any team that matches up in the Atlantic Division. A lot of these guys know each other outside of basketball. They played against each other in other leagues, either here in North America or overseas. So they're no strangers to each other, and some of them actually played with each other at the collegiate level or played against each other at the collegiate level. So they're not strangers. And then, we're in year number 6. Some of these guys have been here since the conception of the league. So, in particular, for Gentil is a guy that's been here since year number 1. So, I mean, he's been around and he's familiar with the Billy Whites and, and the other players on the Halifax Hurricanes, as he have seen, pretty much every player that's actually suited up for the Halifax franchises. So, it's it's a battle in the Atlantic Division. You could say that for sure. On every given night, these guys don't like each other. They want to win and they want to be successful.
Taking a look at some of the crowd here at the Scotiabank Center. It's been a little bit of a quiet one this evening, but Hurricanes have pretty well been on top here since the opening tip. They got off with 6-0 lead and pretty well have not looked back and trying to get a little bit of separation here with the dying stages. 1:54 left here in the quarter. Possibly like 2 for 1 here, depending on how long this possession goes here for the Miracles. 1:54 to go. And on the floor right now is Johnson. He's got the ball along with BD, Gentil, Bird, and Mitchell. Hurricanes have Watson, Zimmerman, Washington, Canty, and Billy White. Shot clock at 8. Canty all over Bird. He's going to have to put it up quickly. Shot clock at 3. Gets some room. Uses that screen. Put it up. It's too strong. But a new 24. Making a nice move there was Mitchell. Beautifully done.
He's got a lot of nice moves around the rim. He can get it done going towards the basket. That's a big time, assignment for CJ to try to stay in front of Mitchell. Height-wise, he matches up great. Size-wise, he gets a little bit of the disadvantage.
Billy White watched by Shanti. It's in the floor. Going to be kicked. And it's going to be Miracles basketball. Exactly 1 minute to go till halftime.
So if the Miracles have any chance of winning this game or getting close to winning it, they definitely need to keep the Hurricanes under 60 points.
Foul called there by John Hunt. Let's go against Zimmerman. They have lots of fouls to give here. To the Hurricanes as the second team foul, so they will have 4 to give if they need to later on here in this quarter, as that jumper doesn't go. 42 seconds to go. 1 for 1, the teams can go here. Last shot will go to Moncton. Canty with some nice footwork. Mid-range jumper, Watson, that goes. 58 to 46.
Wide open jump shot there and stepped into that jumper as Watson, and that's his second jumper tonight. He's able to knock down from 15 feet out. They're pretty much giving Watson that jump shot, and it looks like he's been working on it.
4 seconds difference between the game clock and shot clock. As I mentioned, Hurricanes have 4 fouls to give. And a shot clock violation. As the Hurricanes came up and they knew Bird was in a little bit of trouble, double teamed him. And Mike Leslie will call timeout with 3.4 ticks to go. Might as well use it.
Yeah, that was a great defensive stop by the Hurricanes, recognizing where the immediate threat was and double teaming Russell Bird and forcing somebody else to hurt you offensively. So good adjustment there defensively, and another strong finish here at the end of the quarter by the Hurricanes, as they were able to finish strong in that first 12 minutes, able to finish up with 6 straight points down the stretch and go into that first quarter break up by 7 points. Opportunity here now to stretch it even a little bit further.
One of the things that has plagued the Moncton Miracles has been the amount of points per game they've given up. As I mentioned earlier, they are last in the league. They've given up an average of 110, and it looks like they're on their way to another one like that. And the thing is, like, you look at the numbers and percentages, and this is straight basketball, whether you're talking NBL, NBA, D-League, European League, as well as even college, and College Canada, College USA. When you're giving up that amount of points, chances of winning are really small. So you got to learn how to start to play some D. But the thing is, it's like they were a team that they gave up a lot of points last year under Serge Landis. They made the coaching change with Krupewski. They still are having a little difficulty defending. Now the question I'm wondering, they had a little bit of a late training camp. Do you think that has been maybe a little bit of a factor?
And this is no knock on the Miracles and no disrespect to Coach McKeskey, but he had a lot more firepower last year in their guard position. They had a lot more firepower with players that could put the ball in the basket at a high rate. We had 2 particular players in particular. Brendan Kearney was one of those players, as he averaged almost 20 points per game. And they had another guard here that was pretty darn good. His name is eluding me, as he's found an opportunity overseas and he's not. James Justice has been very good, and I do believe, if I'm not mistaken to correct it, I believe he's in the D-League right now. So, I mean, that guy was lights out. And I think he was newcomer of the year, if I'm not mistaken, if not rookie of the year for the NBLC. I got to check the stats here. You probably get a better opportunity to see who the award winners. My memory's a little foggy in that regard, but I mean, they had a lot more firepower offensively last year than they do this year, and that's been the difference, that they can go in to a ball game and outscore a team. This year they can't do that.
Okay, so we're going to head to the halftime here at the Scotiabank Center, and coming up in a couple of moments, Commissioner Dave Megley and I will have a one-on-one conversation here during the halftime. So the score here, after 24 minutes of play, Halifax Hurricanes lead the Moncton Miracles 60-46, and we'll be back here in just a couple of moments with Commissioner Megley here on NBL Canada on YouTube.
14 turnovers in the first 24 minutes. That's not good. Surrendering 32 points in the paint. That's not good. And most of those 32 points coming by way of transition, offensive transition in the open floor. Easy looks and easy runouts. Lob cities, standstill threes, running into threes, walking into threes, by the Hurricanes have basically been their demise in the first 24 minutes. But you have an opportunity to clean all those things up and rebound in the second half. That's the nature of 2 halves of basketball.
And we're underway here in the second half. Hurricanes basketball. There's Watson. Once again, side to Washington, spinning on Bird, and he'll get that one to go.
Yeah, that's a defensive mismatch there for the Miracles with Russell Bird trying to guard CJ down low as a nice, big on big screen was able to free him up and create that mismatch.
62-46. 1-on-2, but a tough bucket, and getting that one and making that sweet play was Timothy Mitchell.
Well, I've been saying it all night long that they need to get Timothy Mitchell involved in their offense, and particularly that inside game.
But you also got to come back and play defense as Tyrone Watson gets the pass and was wide open and had an easy layup.
That's the second straight possession where there was miscommunication with the bigs for the Miracles defensively.
Rattles around and goes down. 64-50 as teams exchange baskets here just past the 1 minute mark. Here's White. Had some separation over Bird. Can't get it to sink. Mitchell comes down with the strong side rebound. Coming up to 1.5 gone here in the third. And a tough bucket and going down, and he'll have a chance to complete the three-point play. Beautiful move by Melvin Johnson III. Chance to knock it down here to make it a 3-point play. 64-52, a chance to make it an 11-point deficit.
It looks like Antoine Mason needs a little bit of discomfort there. He's still down, trying to shake whatever ills. And it looks like a lower body type of situation there for Antoine Mason.
He's grimacing there, showing lots of teeth, but not spoiled. It's one of those pain teeth, like they call it. There's a foul there by the Miracles here in the early stages of the third. Foul going against Catali, who would be his second. Start of the game here. Oh, and a tough bucket there by Washington. Chance to knock it down from the line. 3 points.
A lot of confusion right now for the Miracles trying to guard the bigs of the Hurricanes. They just can't complete their assignments. You got to give credit to the Hurricanes, as that big on big screen is definitely creating mismatches for the Miracles defensively. CJ's just getting wide open looks on the smaller defender.
Washington, who shoots 70.4% from the three-throw line this season, was unable to complete the three-point play, so will stay in a 13-point game. Bird from downtown, and a little bit of officiating there by Johnson. Thought it was good, but it was short. And the Hurricanes went back the other way, goes out of bounds. 9:58 to go. Beatty back in for Catali.
Yeah, you could see that Coach McKeskey just needed a little bit more size inside, as it looks like the Hurricanes are trying to take advantage of their inside presence, bringing back Tyrone Beatty for Catali.
Oh, wide open look for Mason for three. Falls down, and he had a little bit of a slight collision with Mitchell. Watson with the ball, more contact, goes out of bounds, so will stay with the Hurricanes.
And that second and third chance opportunity was all created by the good ball rotation and forcing Tim Mitchell outside the three-point arc to try to, distract that three-point opportunity there by Antoine Mason. That gave up a lot of size inside as Billy White had an opportunity to grab that rebound.
Quick foul on the inbound going to Johnson. That's second. Oh, nice move there by Mason. Loses their defender and then hands it off to Watson, who waves his finger in the air after he gets the bucket to go, making it 68-53.
Watson's having quite the game offensively tonight.
Bird does the work, hands it off to Mitchell, gets a second chance, and then the put back. 68 to 55.
Ty Watson, 7 for 11 from the field, 15 points on the evening. Pretty much an unmovable and unstoppable force.
Watson swatted away by Beatty, out of bounds. Shot clock's at 9:05 to go. As you mentioned, lots of contact there, Vince.
Yeah, Beatty might have gotten away with a push there on Watson. But that's what you need to do. You got to match his physicality if you're going to have any chance of stopping him inside that paint.
Tough catch there by Washington, pretty well over the shoulder of the Miracle defender. He's getting second and third chances on the fourth one. He finally cashes it in.
Nowhere to be found is Tim Mitchell, and he's probably the only guy that can deal with CJ inside that painted area, as he was able to physically and basically athletically outplay Russell Bird along with Brendan Kearney. There's a lot of physicality there. Tyrone Watson looking for an explanation there, and it looks like Tim Mitchell, gave him a push from behind.
The foul going to Mason there, so they'll readjust it. It's his third, Mason's third. 3 team fouls here, 8:48 to go. Bird looking for help. He'll swing it over. Kearney, 3, no. Watson, and a nice handoff there to Clinkscales underneath the hoop. They'll put the brakes on up top. Guarded by Bird. Washington comes and sets the screen. A little bit of room here for Clinkscales. Takes it strong, but can't get the finish. Here's Beatty back the other way. Swings it over. Johnson can't hit. But right there was Beatty, but he's fouled. He'll have 3 throws coming his way, or actually it's going to be a foul going against Miracles, pardon me.
Yeah, it's on Beatty. Pushed Antoine Mason in the back, as Mason had outstanding position. It was a 3-on-1, and Melvin Johnson, the third, decided he was going to pull up from distance, unable to get that shot to go. And Mason did a good job of hustling back and getting in great defensive position.
Quick ball movement, catch and shoot. Washington, bucket.
He's having his way, and that's what it does when you have confidence. He started this half off, getting some easy opportunities on that big-on-big screen and going to work against a smaller individual. And now he's starting to heat up from distance as well.
Hurricanes defense collapsed there just in time to deny that shot. Mason gets it up top, swings it over. Washington, yes!
He's starting to feel
and
it.
Bukeski says, I want a timeout.
And that's what happened. I mean, he started this half in rhythm. You can see, take a quick look
17 points now.
Yeah, you take a look at the statistics real quick here, Dan. At the end of 24 minutes, and if I grab the right sheet here, it looked like I had the right sheet. After the first 24 minutes, if you look at CJ's numbers, he was 2 for 3 from the field. He only had 5 points. So he's got, as you said, 17 points. He's got 12 points in this quarter. And it all started in the first few possessions, where the Miracles were running around, not making the defense adjustments when they had that big-on-big screen. So Billy White and CJ were able to exchange defensively, change men's defensively with that big-on-big screen. And the switches have been hurting the Miracles down the stretch here, because when they make that adjustment, CJ's playing against a smaller player, which would be a small forward. Because they only have 8 players tonight, the Miracles that is, they're essentially playing with guards and small forwards, 1 through 4, and then the biggest player on the floor is Tim Mitchell. If they can get Tim Mitchell away from the rim or get him to switch off on another big, then they're going to go to the other big that has a smaller individual, and that's what has been happening in this third quarter, where CJ got off to that hot start, where he was able to get some easy looks inside the painted area off of that big-on-big screen, and then he started to open up with that jump shot from beyond the arc.
Largest lead of the evening here for the Hurricanes, 75 to 55. You see the big white hands there on your screen as they are trying to get some noise generated here in the Scotiabank Center. They have lots to cheer about. Their team up by 20 as we return to play here on A Wednesday night from the Scotiabank Center, 75 to 55. Dan Hobson alongside Vince Williams and the Silver Vision crew. It's the NBL Canada on YouTube. Beatty gets the contact from Washington. That almost went, but what a nice play there by Beatty, and Washington fell for it and made the contact, so Beatty will go to the line.
Well, that's a start coming out of the timeout. It's exactly what Coach Paul McKeskey needed, something positive to generate offensively.
Beatty 70.6% from the line this season.
They definitely need to start knocking down shots, whether it's going to come from the free throw line or it's going to come within their offense. But they need to find a way offensively here.
Goes 2-2, brings it down to an 18-point game, 75 to 57, 7:13 to go here in the third quarter. Hurricanes with the quick passing once again. Watson over Mitchell. Mitchell trying to keep it alive for the Miracles, and does. He goes to the floor, and he'll quickly get back up, so they will still have the 5-on-5 here. And a nice stop and floater there by Johnson. And all of a sudden, they're starting to climb back into it, 75 to 59.
It's a good response, and now they have switched into a 3-2 zone, the Miracles have. So getting away from that man-to-man and confusion and trying to confuse the Hurricanes by that 3-2 matchup zone.
Lots of contact coming up with the ball. There was Beatty, and you said this seemed to have confused this Hurricane team right now with that 3-2 foul here on the play.
Even though Mason got a good look out of that offense on that last trip down, you can see that the Hurricanes weren't really ready for that 3-2 zone. So an adjustment on the fly here need to be made by the Hurricanes on their next trip down offensively if they get into a half-court situation.
Bird falling down on the play, throws up a brick. Leg scales. Washington having a fantastic third quarter. Vince documented. I can't get that one to finish, and we're coming up to the halfway point here of the third quarter. Turnover, 2-on-1 the other way. Mason says up, but doesn't quite get the pass, but the Hurricanes will keep possession of the ball with 21 seconds on the shot clock, 6:03 to go.
Yeah, two missed opportunities in those last defensive trips down there by the Miracles. As you can see, when Tim Mitchell is inside that painted area and able to protect the rim, it makes it a little bit tougher for the Hurricanes to get shots that they want. And they were able to get 2 straight stops, and there's a third right there, and another opportunity to cut into this lead, but they need baskets here in a hurry.
Tough defensive rebounds there for Beatty, but he is fighting there, scratching and clawing. And he's helping his team get to the free throw line as the Hurricanes called for another foul, and Johnson will go to the strike. 5:50 to go.
So slowly but surely getting themselves back into this game as the lead ballooned to 20 points and forced Coach McKeskey to call a timeout, try to rewrite the ship. But defensively, the last few trips down, they were able to make the adjustments. And the key is definitely Tim Mitchell's presence inside the painted area to protect the rim.
Johnson 7-7 from the stripe. And what was a 20-point lead is now down to where we finished the first half, a 14-point lead, 75-61 for the Hurricanes, 5:43 to go.
Lots of time left in this basketball game for the Miracles.
Washington from outside the arc can't get the catch and shoot to go down. Mentioned 5.5 to go, and all of a sudden the Miracles are starting to get some stops, and now they get the pop there from Bird from downtown, and all of a sudden 20 points down by the wayside, 75-64.
Now it's time for the Hurricanes to make their adjustments defensively. Can't allow Russell Bird and Melvin Johnson III to create offense off the bounce and standstill threes from beyond the arc. Melvin Johnson III not happy about that foul call.
It's his thirds. Haywood has the ball. Here is Poole. I said he was pointless last game. Billy White inside. Washington can't finish. And coming down with it was Mitchell, who quickly hands it off. Here is Bird. Less than 5 to go. And all of a sudden, the Miracles have got this down to single digits, 75 to 66. Whatever Mokeski said to his players, they are buying it, and they're now getting back into this game.
And you got to give credit to the Miracles not, giving up in this quarter. Things looked dire as they went down by 20 points, and a timeout was called, and they are fighting back right now. They're responding.
Did an excellent job there. He was almost looking like he was going to hit the floor hard, but got his hands down. In the meantime, another foul going against the Hurricanes. And all of a sudden, this crowd, which has been kind of quiet tonight, has gotten even just a little bit more quiet, starting to chew on their fingernails and think, oh, this could be getting away from them. In the meantime, you see Brent Stocker talking to Kearney.
Great response right now by the Miracles.
Johnson to the line. 7-7 as I mentioned tonight.
He's been very good. Jeez, he missed everything on that free throw.
Wow. Here we go again. I said, oh,
Unbelievable.
he's been good from the line, and then he pulls that one. So that one is going to be your low light of the night.
That's got to be uncharacteristic. I did not expect Melvin Johnson III, one of the better shooters.
Well, it could
in
also
this
be like
league all
fatigue.
around.
The thing is, you have a bench of 8. You see the sweat like just coming off of his face and everything.
Well, he's forced into some huge minutes.
Here's Bird. Oh, and a nice defense getting back there. And really made that shot a lot harder, and they came up with nothing, and they get a second chance and can't drain it. 4 to go, 75 to 67. And a turnover here by the Hurricanes. So all of a sudden, this could make things a little interesting here on this possession. A 3-pointer, we've got a 2-possession game.
Yeah, Coach Leslie wants a timeout. Talk things over and try to regroup. It's definitely been a swing of momentum in the favor for the Miracles coming out of that timeout, and still emphasizing that timeout because it's amazing. Things just look like they were just going by the wayside, and the Miracles were ready to basically go through the motions here the rest of the game, but they have responded. So like you said, whatever Coach McKeskey said to his troops in that timeout in regards to motivation and X's and O's, I'm not sure what he exactly said to them, but right now they are fighting back in this basketball game, and they're believing that they can win with the 8 guys that they're going to battle tonight with. And it's been indicative in their game in the last 3 minutes as they have responded. They're getting stops, and the key, and I talked about it, is Tim Mitchell. If Tim Mitchell is able to stay in the painted area in the middle of the paint and not get low, and not get go to run out the 3-point line and try to close out on 3-point shooters, or get tied up with that big-on-big screen where the Hurricanes have the advantage on that switch and getting easy opportunities at the goal, is he's able to stand in there defensively and make it tough for the Hurricanes, then they're getting good opportunities because they're getting the one and dones and they're coming back the other way and they're making shots. That's been the thing, they're making shots now. When they weren't making shots and giving the Hurricanes opportunities in transition in their half-court sets, that's when they weren't successful. So it's going to be pretty interesting now to see what type of adjustments Mike Leslie and the Hurricanes make coming on this timeout.
Well, as I mentioned just before the timeout, this is a pretty big possession here. They could bring it down to a 2-possession game. They get hit from outside the 3, and they've got the weapons to do it. Johnson, who's got 22, that bounces in and out. Poole thinking that it's not happy with the official's call, thinking that it was in off the Miracles. It should be their basketball. Miracles inbound, but
Missed
Johnson, pardon me, Mitchell there with the, must have been eating popcorn again with the buttery fingers, losing the handle, 3:43 to go.
Wide open opportunity off of that beautiful inbound play for the Miracles, not able to convert. See if the Hurricanes now can take advantage of that turnover, as they've got 16 points on the night off the turnovers.
We'll swing it over to the strong side here. Shot clock at 4. Haywood sees the open man. Zimmerman for 3, in and out. It's a little bit of a cold streak still continuing for Zimmerman. To mention, in 7 games, he had double figures in 3 of those. In the last 4, he's had under. In the meantime, Hurricanes come up with a much-needed bucket, 10-point game, coming up to 3 to go here in the third. Johnson, the third. I think that maybe it's a little bit of fatigue kicking in on him because he just lost the handle once again. And talk about the 3 throw that he kind of missed earlier. So, say a bench of 8 dressed for tonight. It makes things difficult to come away with victory. It doesn't matter whether you're talking college, whether you're talking NBL, NBA, but you have the numbers against you. It makes things difficult, and all of a sudden you have to step up and play more minutes. Poole from the free throw line, and it goes down.
It's good to see Mike Poole get his offensive game tonight, and that's back-to-back shots for him. He's got 13 on the evening.
Beatty spins and shoots over Dixon, and it goes down. 2.5 to go, 10-point game here in the third. Haywood swings it over to Billy White. Hands it off to Zimmerman, guarded there by Beatty. White lost the handle, actually did lose the handle. Bird comes up with it, flips it high to Beatty. Mid-range jumper, too strong, and swatted away. Right there was Theo Davis looking for the putback. It goes off the Miracles and will be Hurricanes basketball. 2:06 to go. And
Coach McKeskey right now is hoping that his team can stay within either this 10-point deficit or get it within single digits going into this 4th quarter as he's gambling, playing with house money with Theo Davis on the floor and giving Tim Mitchell a rest.
Dixon over Beatty, too strong. Davis with the rebound, quickly up to Bird, makes a nice move, blows by Poole and in. And it makes it an 8-point game, 79 to 71.
Outstanding step through in transition and finish at the rim by Russell Bird, but good outlet pass and rebound by Theo Davis.
Dixon was wide open, and when you get those wide open looks, you got to put them down. That was short. And now once again a 3-ball here by Moncton can make it a 5-point game, 2 possession. Bird takes it strong, kisses it off the glass, and the put back there by Theo Davis.
Theo Davis must have heard me from afar. As I mentioned in the previous trip down, defensively, as Coach McKeskey playing with house money and putting Theo Davis into this game in the latter part of this 3rd quarter.
Poole with a step back jumper getting away from Davis and drains it to make it an 8-point game with 54 seconds to go.
It's just as I gave him some credit, is unable to close out there on Mike Poole, but that's a tough matchup defensively for
Zimmerman
Davis.
1-on-2, pops, can't finish. Goes off of Poole. Actually, Poole does sell the call, and it will be their basketball. The Hurricanes, 42.1 seconds to go, and move 24.
Yeah, Mike Poole did an outstanding job of saving that basketball and deflecting it off of Russell Bird. Poole 7 for 8 from the field, 1 for 2 from distance, 15 points. He's had a outstanding basketball game thus far, shooting from the field.
Fantastic job here by the Miracles in the 3rd quarter to get close. Johnson now. And all of a sudden, how's that not a foul? Rings through the Scotiabank Center, and exactly your hands were doing the same thing. Some of the Bluebirds are coming out to roost here at the Scotiabank Center, not too happy with the crew of Hunt, Stalker, and Brown.
Along with the fan base echoing, how's that not a foul? Coach Mike Leslie repeating the sentiments too, as well, to Crew Chief John Hunt, trying to get an explanation on how that was not a foul down the other end. It looked like Joey Haywood might have sold it, but the officials allowing these teams to play on.
So ever since he went 7-7 from the line, he's now 2 of 4. Johnson 1 of 2 that trip. 7-point game, 20 seconds to go. Miracles have a foul to give, and there it is. Hunt with the call, going against Theo Davis.
It's a good offensive set there as Theo Davis got caught up on that screen, on that back screen, and a good roll back towards the rim by Anthony Cox. Good catch as
Jean-T will return here.
and he's really rolling the dice now as Melvin Johnson, the third, will get a rest with 16.7 seconds. You would think that Coach McKeskey is basically trying to give Johnson a rest as he's played 32 minutes of this game.
Well, he's sweating profusely, is Johnson, so trying to give him a rest here. Shot clock at 8, game at 9. There's Poole. 4 to shoot. Dixon, slam! Time to go to the cupboard, get out some bread, and get some peanut butter, and there was the jam. 83 to 74.
Yeah, an outstanding finish at the rim there by Ronaldo Dixon. Great patience offensively by the Hurricanes. Great ball movement, and Ronaldo Dixon finishing the third quarter with an exclamation point as he was able to hang in the air and finish at the rim with that one-handed slam.
83 to 74, so
good response by the Miracles. These things that we talked about, it looked like things were getting out of hand and in dire straits there where the Hurricanes went up by 20 points. Coach McKeskey had to call a timeout to rewrite the ship, and they were able to rewrite the ship defensively with some good stops and knock down some shots there in the middle of that quarter and get this lead down to 9 points. So it's a striking distance with 8 guys on the floor, 8 guys available for Coach McKeskey. He's got to be happy where they're at right now. He'd like to be in the lead, but that's just a little bit too much to ask for when you got eight guys and you committed 17 turnovers and you surrender 42 points in the paint. It pretty much has been the story of the game thus far. But 12 minutes left, and then you know and I know anything can happen with those 12 minutes in this professional game. And we've seen some crazy finishes here at Scotiabank Center, and the next 12 minutes will be no different.
you see they're doing a halftime contest, so they're seconds away from the all-important fourth quarter. Of course, the Miracles thought they had things turned around in their season after having a spectacular game against the Island Storm at the Moncton Coliseum on Saturday, and then, of course, they went over and lost the home series to the Island Storm on Monday. So that's the thing, too, Vince, is you have a team that played on Monday, and then they have only 8 bodies here for Wednesday. You only get 1 day rest. That's, so as I say, the fatigue may be starting to kick in, especially on Johnson, seeing some of those, especially that free throw, and seeing him, sweat profusely like he has been.
Well, I tell you what, right now, Coach McKeskey cannot wait too long of sitting down Tim Mitchell, Russell Bird, and Johnson III. A 9-point lead right now. You got 12 minutes left. The game pretty much, in striking distance here for a win. Coming into this game against a mountain of odds, stacked already against it, knowing that you only have 8 bodies available. If I'm Coach Paul McKeskey, I'm giving these guys maybe 2 trips down and then putting my horses back in.
Jean-T swings it over along the wing. Kearney now, he'll bring it over to the near side. On Dixon in the corner. Davis can't hit, tapped out. Haywood right there for the Hurricanes, come up with it. Swing over to Zimmerman inside, Dixon. Jean-T covering him, and a nice hard pass there for Cox, but he got the finish.
Theo Davis got caught watching the paint dry as he was watching the backside defender able to work the ball, and then Anthony Cox moving without the basketball was able to elude him from the backside.
Ernie, he had the room and got the look, and he finished.
That's a tough shot from distance there, just inside the 3-point line by Brendan Kearney.
Haywood with his usual floater, but it didn't go this time. Having a little bit of difficulty still finding his game, but of course, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, 16 on Monday and then lost to the Island Storm, so starting to come and find his game right now. Entry pass, Jean-T against Cox and can't get the finish.
Gotta have it, Jean-T's gotta have the finish there at the rim.
Haywood now reversed to speed. Fouled there by Beatty.
Good decision in transition by Joey Haywood. as he recognized he had the defender backing up and he had the space. And as only Joey Haywood could do, he was able to use his quickness and beat Beatty at the rim and force him to foul him.
Second one to Beatty, Haywood to the line. Haywood this season, 66.7%.
Almost 2 minutes gone by here, Danny, and
2-2.
still a 9-point lead or a 10-point lead now. And checking back into the game, it looks like Melvin Johnson III. But if I'm Coach Paul McKeskey, I'm not sure if I'm taking Brandon Kearney off the floor. I think I'm leaving Brandon Kearney on the floor and maybe going a little bit small here, and maybe substituting either Theo Davis or Cordell Jonty.
That's why the coaches get paid the big bucks to make the decisions, and
Yeah.
87 to 76.
You can say that again.
Easy to be armchair critics from home or even from the broadcast
You just
booth.
took the words right out of my I was going to say it's easy for us to be armchair coaches here and make suggestions.
I think if people have just tuned in, you had a conversation with Dave Bagley. There's Haywood coming back there. Was Gatali there, and he stopped that one.
Wow, and I think the inexperience by the official there, not getting in
Haywood wants a
position,
goaltend.
definitely looked like the ball was on the glass before Gatali was able to get back and block that shot.
And 11 to go. Haywood shook that off. Here's Poole. Haywood gets the pass once again from Poole. Cox, open look. And the mid-range jumper goes. And defensive miscommunication once again there for the Miracles.
Just bad defense on the help line by Theo Davis as he was floating away from his.
Zimmerman not happy with the call made there by Ryan Brown.
Not a good defensive possession down as he finished that thought as Theo Davis floating away from Anthony Cox and giving him too much space. He's got to be playing ball you man, and basically he's got to be, if he's one pass away, he's got to hug in his defender.
80 with the tough take that doesn't go. And the rebound eludes Theo Davis. Hurricanes come up with it. 2.5 gone. Haywood with an open lane and gets the bucket.
McKeskey needs a timeout here, or he needs to make some substitutions, as Russell Bird and Tim Mitchell are still on the bench here as he's still trying to play through it here with John T. as well as Theo Davis on the floor.
And just as soon as you mentioned, Bird has now made his way to the scoring table. And Kearney will come in as well. 9:08 to go. And they got within striking distance, but it's gotten away once again, 91 to 76.
I'm still scratching my head. I'm not sure why Tim Mitchell is not in this game. He's been very effective, in particularly in the middle part of that third quarter, and was allowed this team to get back into it because of his defensive presence.
Dixon steps back and it rolls around like a hula hoop and in, 93 to 76. Bird catch and shoot over Dixon, and he comes up with nothing.
Definitely looked like he rushed that shot coming off of that screen.
And sometimes you try to, maybe do too much, maybe slow the game down if you can. Haywood, tough take.
Great
Foul
decision.
there by Kearney.
Great decision by Joey. No rim protection in there right now for the Miracles. So the floodgates are open. If I'm the Hurricanes, I'm trying to get to the basket on every possession down. Either it's coming off the dribble or they're getting something in with inside by their bigs. Running a play where there's a big on big screen between Ronaldo Dixon and Anthony Cox, or they're getting that penetration off of that two-man game.
Haywood can't get the first free throw to go down. 8 minutes and 31 seconds left. And that one goes down, as you see. Haywood giving them some good minutes here. And it's good to see because he's one of the most popular players here in Halifax, has been for years. And good to see him maybe find his game after having maybe a little bit of a struggle. Of course, you come into a team a little bit late in the season. Have a little bit of rust per se. That outside three by Bird doesn't go. Cox with the pink sneakers comes down with it, hands it off to Zimmerman, who crosses the timeline as we approach 4 minutes gone here in the fourth quarter. Entry pass, Cox there. Falling down was Johnson the third. Ball's on the floor, and Bird will come up to it. They got numbers. Alley-oop and the flush. Tydran Beatty. But the Hurricanes will quickly send it up, and now it's showtime here at the Scotiabank Center as Cox says, I can do that too. Bam, bam, thank you for the slam. And swatted away, 7:37 to go.
Both teams not playing any defense in transition as they exchange lob cities on both ends. That's the first time I've actually seen that all season long, where one team gives up a lob city on 2-on-1.
And once again, the Bird is the word as he catches and shoots and hits the three.
They come back down the other way and they give up the same play that they just executed on the other end. And that's been the storyline here in this fourth quarter for the Miracles. Now this lead is ballooned back up to 16 points, 15 points, excuse me, where it was basically down to 9 points, and it almost got to 5 points where they were in striking distance. But I just don't understand the decision by Coach McKeskey, whereas we haven't seen Tim Mitchell since, I would say, the 4-minute mark left in the third quarter, where they were basically mounting a comeback and getting within striking distance going into the fourth quarter. Now we haven't even seen Tim Mitchell. He's been very effective around the rim. You take a look at his numbers, he's been very effective offensively, and defensively has been the story. He's been very good there protecting the basket. 4 for 6 from the field. He has 9 points and 11 rebounds. Now, those are good numbers for a big man, in particular when you only come into this game with one really true big man. Because if you go up and down that lineup, and you take a look at the Miracles lineup right now, you have a bunch of guards, small forwards, and you potentially got one power forward, and Theo Davis, excuse me, two. Theo Davis, along with Cordell John T, who both play the power forward position, but they're not bona fide centers. When you have a center like Tim Mitchell that can get that done around the rim, and he's had some very nice touches around the rim, and he's finished around the rim, but he's been providing that defensive presence. He got a little lost in the early going in that third quarter where they had that big on big screen, and he got caught up with the mismatches, but the Hurricanes, to give them credit, they were able to exploit those mismatches and score at the rim. So if I'm the Hurricanes right now, I continue to be very aggressive and attack the rim and not settle for jump shots unless they're wide open.
7:26 to go, fourth quarter. Scotiabank Center, Vince Williams, Dan Hobson along for the call here on NBL Canada YouTube. Hurricanes got off to a 6-0 lead, and they have not really looked back since. In the meantime, Taquan Zimmerman, a jumper.
Yeah, he'll hurt you every time, especially if Russell Bird. He had good position there, but didn't get a hand up. And Taquan Zimmerman can knock that shot down off the bounce.
Defense chant rings loud here over the Scotiabank Center. And Johnson unable to hit, and we notice that he's got some tape around that elbow. Once again, Johnson there, and boy, he made that look easy. Catch, shoot, bucket, in. 98-84.
He's got an easy looking stroke with effortless stroke. It just looks like it gets up and down, in and out of his hand with the quickness. So you can't give him second chance opportunities at that position.
Rule has 17 points here this evening. And as I mentioned before, he likes playing the Moncton Miracles, averaging 19 points a game, and he's just a bucket shy of getting that average once again, 17 right now. And as you mentioned, Theo Davis will come in, and we see Mitchell.
Coach McKeskey finally giving up.
Finally go to the Vince Williams School of Coaching here.
And tried to play the percentages here, and I mean, Theo Davis got off to a very hot start, and it looked like it was the right decision in the few trips down offensively and defensively, as he was able to get some stops and some rebounds and knock down a shot or two. but things started to get off the rails as we got into this start of this fourth quarter. And I think it's a little too late bringing Tim Mitchell back here now, but a lot of basketball left, still 6 minutes to go. We'll see if things pan out for the Miracles.
Miracles once again in familiar territory of giving up 100 points a game, and the century mark was just hit by the Hurricanes. In the meantime, the Miracles come down and hit a jumper, makes it 186 as we pass the halfway point here of the fourth.
Yeah, they need a big push here now. They need some stops, and they need to knock down some shots. But if I'm the Hurricanes, I'm continuing to be very aggressive and going inside as we got a major mismatch underneath here as Melvin Johnson III is trying to match up with Ronaldo Dixon. Now you got a shooting guard trying to match up with the center. Now who's going to win that matchup? I'd say 9 times out of 10, if the center doesn't push a shooting guard out of position, that center should win that matchup.
5:39 to go. Poole, and it's in and out. And Beatty, who has been really just a beast there defensively, getting some rebounds here for the Miracles. Another tough bucket, or another tough rebound for him. Here's Carney now, over Cox. Can't get the finish. There's a couple of hands there above the rim with an attempted putback there by Moncton. Didn't go down. 14-point game, 5:14 to go. Canty, and that doesn't go, and Dixon comes up with it in a new 24. They'll swing it around, picked off by Johnson, and Beatty one-hands it down. 5 to go, 100-88.
Miracles still in this one, continue to push back, not giving up, but they need a lot more stops here. Hurricanes got to be aggressive and attack the rim.
Dixon inside the Cox.
That's a good offensive
Keski
set.
wanted a 3-second violation, but none is forthcoming. 102-88.
That's not coming. That was a good offensive set there. Good ball movement and movement without the basketball with Anthony Cox there. Confusion once again defensively underneath the basket by the Miracles. Like a moving screen. Gets 1-4. There's no 1-4 on the floor for the Hurricanes. That's Antoine Zimmerman's. Sorry, that's Antoine Mason's number, isn't it?
Yeah.
What did he call it on?
I think he made a call. Might have called a double. We'll get clarification here in a couple seconds.
We didn't get any clarification from the scoreboard.
Yeah, nothing there, so.
That's not a good mechanic.
Johnson, jumper, as the clock was winding down. 102-88. So they're going to give a foul there to Cox. That would be his first. So.
I'll tell you what, Melvin Johnson III, he's 6'6" and he may be 160 pounds, but that guy can get it done offensively.
Poole with the fake, and the defender left his feet, but he was unable to get it to go. 3:45 to go, 14-point game, and once again, the defense chant starting to echo here at the Scotiabank Center.
See, Melvin Johnson III gets it. He knows his team's down by a large amount. He knows if there's any chance of getting back into this game, he's got to continue to be aggressive offensively. A good job of using that two-man game, that pick and roll, as he was able to get to the basket and draw the contact. Now he can go to the line, knock down a couple free throws without the clock, moving, and try to get in striking distance here now and get this lead down to single digits.
10-12 he is at the line is Johnson tonight. And that one will go, so 2-2 that trip. And it's 103-92. Tanti getting some minutes here this evening. Scotiabank Center gets the return pass. Clock at 10.
Gotta attack the rim.
Cox with some speed and was allowed to walk down the middle. And he'll now have a chance to knock some down from the free throw line.
And that's been a problem all night long, that pick and roll. When the Hurricanes been able to go to that pick and roll, that particular play, they've been very successful tonight, David. And that's been, right there, has been a prime example of them being successful, as Canty did an outstanding job of being very patient and waiting for that screen from Cox. And Cox doing a good job of getting his defender on his back as he rolled back towards the rim and created that space and was able to get that spacing and draw that contact at the rim.
First three throws of the night for Cox is shooting 55.6%, gets both to go, 104 to 92. Miracles, they are doing a really good job here, maybe going blow for blow, but they've just had a bit of a hill to come back and they can't get the defensive stops that they like. There's a nice move by Beatty. Freezes their defender and he'll have a chance to put a couple down here from the line.
He got bailed out by the contact there. It looked like he took an extra step as he tried that Euro step through, and it looked like he had a misstep there. He had a stumble, but he got pushed from behind, and that was his argument.
Rails around and goes down, 104, 93. 3 minutes and 3 seconds to go. 1-2, and Dixon will come up with it as it deflects off a couple of hands. Ante with the ball, crosses the timeline, watched by Johnson. There's a switch, Ante, back out top to Poole. Poole finds a lane, and it rattles around and goes in. A very good athletic play there by Mike Poole. And now that will give him his 19 points. And Beatty comes back with a 2 just like that, 106 to 95. They need to get some stops, do the Miracles do. 2.5 to go. Ante coming up, was Cox to set the screen, give and go. Drives towards the hoop, and Dixon goes down awkwardly as him and Mitchell collide underneath the hoop. 7 to shoot, but foul on the play going against Mitchell. And Mitchell will be his 4th as they look at Tyrone Beatty, who's had a couple of nice slams here tonight at the Scotiabank Center. Ante inbounding. 2:17 to go. He's in the corner. Canty, no, came up with nothing. It's a loose ball foul. And it's going against Beatty, and Beatty not happy, and neither is Coach Paul McKeskey here, right close to our broadcast location. Cox looks like he's a little bit winded as he'll go to the line here, and the thing with the Miracles, it's now 3 throws west of the Ray for the Hurricanes, as that was their 7th. As I mentioned, Cox 2-2 on the line, and he'll make it 3-3 with that one. Coach Mike Ledgley sits back down after standing up momentarily there.
15 offensive rebounds in the books.
2nd.
For the Hurricanes, pretty much has been the story in the latter part of this 4th quarter, getting those second chance opportunities and extending these possessions has basically kept them in front.
And a turnover there, just 2 seconds shy of 2 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. There it is, 2 to go, 108 to 95. Zimmerman for 3, yep. And McKeskey will call timeout.
That absolutely hurts right now. Had an opportunity to knock down a shot, get it a little bit closer. Uncharacteristic turnover there by Melvin Johnson, the 3rd. And great execution back the other way for the Hurricanes. A standstill, wide open 3 where late closeout by Russell Byrne and Taquan Zimmerman knocking down that 3 from beyond the arc. That's the state right now. But I think looking back through this game, if the Miracles can't get over this mountain here that they need to climb, just under 2 minutes left, I think this, where the game might have been lost for the Miracles would have definitely been Tim Mitchell not coming back early enough in the 4th quarter. Theo Davis did some nice things, some good things for Coach McKeskey in the latter part of that 3rd quarter, was able to get some quality minutes, finish the 3rd quarter strong. Started the 4th quarter a little shaky, got lost a little bit a few times defensively in his defensive help, guys were able to knock down shots, and they were able to extend that lead to a double digits. In particular, got it out to 18 points. And then Coach Paul McKeskey was late bringing back his horses. Russell Bird came late back in the fourth quarter, along with Melvin Johnson III. Then you had Brandon Kearney. He was off to a pretty hot start. You substituted him out. Then you bring back Tim Mitchell late. So a lot of coaching decisions down the stretch would point to the demise of the Miracles. But you got to give credit to the Hurricanes, because the Hurricanes, they do a good job. What you do bad, they exploit the bad things that you do. They make sure they make you pay. And they've done an outstanding job tonight, in particular getting the ball, scoring 52 points inside the paint, and their bench scoring 62 points to 21. That's outstanding. But that's nothing new. We've seen it all season long here at Scotiabank.
Yeah. Happy fans that we've seen on the screens for everybody to watch back home. We're getting close to closing time here at the Scotiabank Center, 111-95. That one doesn't go. Beatty gets a second chance, fouled, and he felt that one. He will, of course, get himself readjusted here and go to shoot some free throws.
Yeah, Beatty's trying to throw that one down. Does it look like Anthony Cox wasn't having nothing to do with that? Good rim protection and not giving up that easy deuce as Beatty turned the corner and made his beeline straight for the rim.
They're having some difficulty at the line during the season, 69.2%, 9th in the NBL.
It's both
from its free throw line level and push them to 16 of 23 tonight. 80 seconds to go, 111-95, double team on. Starting to turn into a little bit of a college game as the Hurricanes swinging around. Zimmerman, yes! 114-95. If the nail wasn't in the coffin, another one's just been put right beside it.
And that's what good teams do.
Under a minute to go.
That's what good teams do, Dan. They know how to close games out. And here at Scotiabank Center, the Hurricanes have done an outstanding job of closing games out.
Zimmerman can't go, get that one to go. Second chance opportunity for Poole as he gathered up the long rebound and pretty well put it up as soon as he got it.
It's been Mike Poole's night. Outstanding game for Mike Poole. It's good to see him bounce back here offensively, in particular here at home in the reserve role. He's got 21 points, 10 for 13 from the field. So it's got to be a good feeling for Mike Poole to have the type of offensive game that we know that he can have.
Johnson making Candy's life a little bit difficult. Getting over the timeline. Zimmerman with another open look and the bucket here. 16 seconds to go. Shot clock shut off. 119-95.
How many threes are you going to let Taquan Zimmerman take? That's his 5th on the evening. 17 points. He is 6 for 13.
Can't finish. Mitchell. And time expires, but they will get that jumper to go before the horn goes. 119-97. Miracles got into a hole, and it was hard to come back. They never had the lead at any time in this game, and they will fall to 4 and 14. The Hurricanes improved to 17-4, but it got close. But I think also too at the end they sort of ran out of gas with just 8 players here as well, Vince.
Yeah, you can definitely say that. You know, coming into this game being shorthanded was definitely, you know, one of the scenarios that fell in place for them not getting this job done. But I mean, if they were able to defend a little bit stronger and knock down a few more shots, and I can point out game management of those 8 players might have been a little bit questionable with not going to your horses a little bit quicker in that fourth quarter. But you got to give credit to the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes, once again, finding a way to get it done, finding a way to win here at Scotiabank Center and get the job done, as they were able to exploit the deficiencies of the Moncton Miracles.
All right, final score once again: the Halifax Hurricanes defeat the Moncton Miracles 119-97. And of course, fans, just a reminder, if you want to find out more about this game, Vince will have some post-game coverage with interviews, and that will be up at NBLcanada.com, and you can get a chance to look at it tomorrow as he'll get a chance to speak to maybe the player of the game here this evening, and you've got a lot to choose, my friend. So for everybody here at the Scotiabank Center, as well as the Silver Vision crew, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thanks for watching here on YouTube. So long. You've been watching NBL Canada on YouTube.